Hello, welcome to the Kitchen Spy. My name is Kate and this is a really lovely recipe for chicken inside a casserole. It's just right for winter evenings and it's also great in the summer too, where you can serve it perhaps not with mashed potato but with some rice. Anyway, if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do and you might want to subscribe to my channel, please click the subscribe button. And if you're a return viewer, thank you so much for coming back. As you know, I really appreciate your support. So we'll get on now and have a look at the ingredients. So here they are, not too many of them, and all very quite simple ingredients as well. So I've got here some chicken breasts. There were 4 chicken breasts here and I've chopped them up. That came to 660 grams or about 1.5 pounds of chicken. Then I've got 2 fat cloves of garlic, which I will crush before putting into the meal. I've got 2 bay leaves and I've also got a teaspoon of thyme. Then I've got 1 tablespoon of corn flour and I've just slaked that with a little bit of water, and we'll put that in the end to thicken the sauce. And here I've got some shallots. So this is actually 17 because one of them was a double shallot, and that's about 226 grams. Then I have got 1 pint or 500 millilitres of cider and 150 millilitres or 5 fluid ounces of cider vinegar. So this is the cider that I used, and this was from Aldi, and it's perfectly good cider and good for this recipe too. And then this is the cider vinegar I used. I think if you're using a vinegar in a recipe, it's worth getting the best that you can afford. So moving over to the pan now, I've got the chicken and I've sprayed the pan with a few sprays of oil, and what we need to do now is to brown the chicken off. We need to do this in small batches because if you overcrowd the pan, then the chicken will kind of boil rather than fry. So take your time over it, it's definitely worth it. Make sure that as you go through the process, you turn each of the chicken pieces so that they're brown on all sides. Now, just as a point of interest, a few people have asked me about this pan. So I originally got this from Tesco ages ago, absolutely ages ago, and it won't have been expensive. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but I guess it's supposed to be a kind of Le Creuset type of pan. It's cast iron and enamel, and no matter how much food gets stuck on it, it always comes up clean, which is just as well. As you can see here, there's lots of stuff crusted onto the bottom, but that will all add to the flavour of the sauce. So once all of the chicken is browned and on a separate dish, I'm now going to spray the pan again with oil, and then I'm going to pop the shallots in. And what we're looking to do here is get a little bit of colouring on the shallots, not really to make them brown on all sides because that's incredibly difficult. To take my hat off to anyone who can brown a shallot all over, but just till there's a little bit of crusting on them. And then we add in the cider, and as you can see there, because the pan's very hot, this starts to bubble straight away. And then as soon as we pop the cider in, then we need to put in the cider vinegar and just give that a big old stir so that we're starting to get some of the crust from the bottom of the pan up into the liquid. And now what we need to do is add the chicken back into the pan. So scooping the chicken all in, and any juices that are in that bowl, make sure that they go into it. All adds to the flavour and we wouldn't want to lose that. So just give it a big old stir and make sure that everything is mixed in together, and then we can add the final ingredients then really, which is the herbs and the garlic. So I'm just going to add those now. So we've got the teaspoon of thyme, the garlic which has now been minced up, and the bay leaves, and I'm just going to mix that all the way through. There's very little ingredients really in this recipe, but it's so tasty, and I think having the cider vinegar in it just gives it a kind of edge that just having cider wouldn't do. And now I'm just going to season it with just a little bit of salt and some black pepper. If you need to keep salt out of your diet, then it's absolutely fine if you miss that out. I really like salt. So we've got the black pepper in there now and the salt, and I'm just mixing it all round. And what we want to do is bring this up to a simmer, and then we're going to pop that in the oven on gas mark 3 with the lid on for 20 minutes, and then we're going to take the lid off it for another 40 minutes. As you can see, that's bubbling, so lid on and it's going in the oven. And here it is after it's had its 1 hour cooking. That's 20 minutes with the lid on and 40 minutes with the lid off, and you can see how the liquid has reduced and left a kind of tide mark around. And I'm going to try and get as much of that brownness from the side of the pan into the sauce that I can, and we need to thicken the sauce. So what I'm going to do that is, first of all, I'm going to take all of the chicken and the shallots out of the pan, and I'm also going to remove the bay leaves at this point, and I'm just going to throw those away. Nobody wants to get those on their plate. So what I'm going to do now is bring this sauce up to a simmering point, and when I've done that, I'm going to actually put in the corn flour and water, and as you can see, it's simmering now. So I'm just going to go in with the corn flour. I'll give it a stir, and then there's always some stuck in the bottom, so I just scoop a little bit of the liquid from the pan into the corn flour bowl until all of the corn flour is in the sauce, because we need every last bit of that tablespoon to make it a nice thick and unctuous liquid. And as you can see, it's starting to come together now. Just giving it a stir. Corn flour is quite easy to work with, it's not very risky, so even if you don't stir it, you can recover it quite easily by giving it a big whisk or something. So as you can see there, that sauce is nice and thick, it's looking really glossy, and we're ready now to pop everything back into the pan. So once it's in the pan, give it a good stir, mix everything up together, and then it's almost ready to be plated up, and you can see it looks really gorgeous. I don't know whether you can hear this, but we've got a storm Dennis going on here, and I've got doors rattling and I can hear the wind through the window, so I apologise if you can hear that. Anyway, here it is, it's all plated up. This was absolutely delicious. Funnily enough, the day we ate this was Storm Kira, so we're obviously in a very stormy season here. So I served this with mashed potato and some tenderstem broccoli. My entire plate there was 574 calories. The chicken came in at 271 calories for a portion, so this recipe made 4 of those portions. So I served 2 up, and then I've frozen the other 2. But the chicken is really moist, and you could also use chicken thighs for this, absolutely no problem whatsoever. And I really hope you give it a go, and if you do, please let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it. And I hope to see you on some of my other videos in the future. I'm going to be trying to post regularly on Wednesday evenings and Sunday mornings. If there's anything in particular you want me to do, or to answer any questions or whatever, then please leave comments down below. I'd be really happy to try and do that if I can. I think I've said before, I'm definitely not a professional cook. I'm just an enthusiastic home cook, but I'm really enjoying doing this, and it's great to have the interactions and comments that I do with you guys, so thank you very much for your support. Right, so we'll leave it there, and I look forward to seeing you next time, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.